Alright, what if I told you that you actually don't have to be the same person you were before you clicked on this video? What if I told you you can manifest what you want overnight? For real, right? What if I told you there's a secret technique that I'm going to give you at the end of the video that you've probably never heard anywhere else? Because that's what we do here at Reality Synthesis. We create the new techniques, the new methods, the new processes that nobody else has heard of, nobody else creates. Because I'm the most technically minded manifestation coach in the entire sphere, right? Nobody else compares to the work that we've done here. Nobody else. And you know that. So let's get straight to it, shall we? Number one, if you want to manifest what you want overnight, a massive shift, you have to be able to reveal the contrast between where you are now and where you really want to be, right? Radical transformation happens through the negation of conditioning that binds us to old states, right? This is how I manifested an SP, multiple specific people in fact, overnight. This is how I did it overnight. I've done it overnight. I've manifested all kinds of different things overnight. The way that I did it was very simple. I saw what I really wanted, and I saw who I was being right now. And so I did what Neville Goddard said in one of his lectures called Changing the Feeling of I. I had an uncritical observation of self, which he, by the way, said if you take an honest look at yourself, you'll probably see I've never seen such a lowly man in my life. Paraphrasing what he said. He says take an honest look at yourself, right? He says that's a necessary first step to manifesting. Why? Because it draws contrast. It draws a contrast, a difference between two things, between 2 points of comparison, right? This is the important piece. If you see the difference between where you are now and where you want to be, you will feel desire to transform. You will want to transform because you will see the difference. And you will see, I don't want to be this way anymore, right? So take an honest look at who you're being, the expectations that you're conforming to, the sense of self that you're being stuck with, the version of you who doesn't work for who you really want to be in the world. And see yourself in that place. I'm worth more than this. I'm worth more than these responses that I have in the world, that I expect other people to be doing certain things that they probably aren't doing, and it makes me suspect them of doing bad things. My SP's doing bad things, even though they probably aren't. And then I get mad at them, even though I don't need to be. Well, they respond to me in a bad way. So when you've drawn the contrast between where you are now and where you want to be real, be honest, be brutally honest with yourself. Is this who I want to be? Is this sense of self that I have right here, is this who I want to be? If not, allow yourself to see the contrast between who you're being right now and who you really want to be. And say, I'm worth this change. I'm worth this change. Have an intensity. Have some like burning fire. Allow the currents to come through you. Allow those seeds to unfold. Allow those innate currents, your capacity to transform. Your capacity to transform, your innate nature is already within you. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait for conditions to meet up. You can have it right now. You can be that person right now. You can transform that sense of self in the instant. You don't have to wait. There's no waiting. There's no conditions that need to be met. You can transform into that sense of self, that state right now. And you can own that person. And you can fully accept that person. Fully accept the state of the wish fulfilled. Which is the feeling of, I can have this thing now. I am this person now. It's the contrast to the conditioning. It's the solution to the conditioning. The conditioning doesn't matter anymore because I'm worth this. I'm worth this vision that I have for my life. I'm worth the contrast, the difference between where I want to be and where I'm at now. I'm worth that change. I'm worth being involved in that life. And I'm going to involve myself in any way that I know that I can to represent me, playing out processes that will then reflect back to me, hey, I am being involved in my life. And that experience, that physical experience that you made a different decision with, a different response, that is what Neville Goddard said is proof that you've changed state. That you're actually responding to life differently. Because you want to, because you're worth it, because you're worth the change. Because you're worth being a different, higher version of yourself. You're worth being more than just the lowly person that you see yourself as. That's the thing. You have to see the contrast. If you want to be slingshotting yourself into a state of abundance and not just be all airy-fairy about it and all up and down and round and around, if you want to have real passion for transformation, you have to see the contrast because you have to want the change. You have to be hungry for the change. God had said in that same lecture that you won't change if you're not hungry enough for the change. He said you'll be complacent. He said that. That's what he said. I'm not going to put the words up on screen. You can go and look for the quote yourself. It's there in the lecture. Go and search up the lecture's name if you really want to read it. Changing the Feeling of I. He said you'll be complacent. He said you have to be hungry enough for it. You have to desire the change. Because you see the vision you have of yourself. The truth, the passion for transformation. I'm deserving of this. I'm worthy of this. I don't have to be the same way. I don't have to be the same person. I can change how I respond. I don't have to conform to the expectations and the responses and the conditions of other people in my life. I can be beyond that. I can be way past that. I can allow God to move through me and play the role of who I envision myself to be and I can be spontaneous with my intuitive impulse. I can trust where I'm being moved in the world spontaneously, instantaneously. I have a sudden insight. I want to go to this place. I want to talk to this person. I want to create this thing, or whatever it is. You can trust it instead of giving into the conditioning, saying, oh, this thing needs to be met first. Oh, but what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh, I don't feel safe doing this thing because of past experiences. Whatever the heck it is. You're worth more than those responses. You're worth more than those conditions that say that you can't be that person. You're driven to want to be this person. And therefore, if you allow that to come through you and drive you, you respond with implied involvement. You involve yourself in living the life. Physical actions, physical decisions, different physical responses to the same people. Be shameless. Be uncompromisingly yourself. And show them who you are. Push through the conditioning. Not in a forceful way. But because you're worth that change. Because you're worth the response. Because your charisma, your heart energy, your sense of self that comes through you. That true nature, who you really are. It comes through you. It automatically unfolds through you because you're allowing it. Because you see yourself in that position. You've already got it within you. You're allowing yourself to be that way. I can be that way. I can have it right now. I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait to do a condition. I don't have to wait to do a technique. You're worth it right now. You don't have to wait anymore. You don't have to wait for other people to be your supply for the things that you don't have within you. If you see what you want in other people that you can't have yourself and you feel uncomfortable without that thing, you feel like this person's out of your league, it's because you feel that this person has something that you can't get. Do you know why you feel that? Do you know why that you feel that you can't get that thing? It's because you're not accepting that you can have it right now because you don't feel like you're worth having it. You don't feel like you're worth actually having that thing in your life. Having that person. Having that bank balance. The appearance. The laughs and the laughter and the friends, the family, the relationships surrounding that. The life that you want. You don't feel like you're worth that life because you still see yourself as small. You still see yourself binding yourself to the expectations of other people, which bind you in a state of dysfunction. That's not overlapping having that thing. There's no implied involvement. There's no visceral responses. There's no change in your attitude. Neville Goddard defined states as attitudes of mind. Attitudes towards function of who you want to be in the world for real. As soon as you really start involving yourself in living that life, you go all the way with it, you go to the degree that you can, you feel satisfied. You can relax. Oh, of course I can have it. I was involved in this experience. This is who I want to be. This is what I wanted. This is my life. I'm living my life now on my terms. I'm rebelling against my conditioning and I'm showing myself that I can trust myself. I can trust making the decisions that I want to make. And that I don't have to continue to compromise and hold myself back because of expectations of other people. Feelings that I have that tell me that I can't show up in a way that I want to. That I have to be stuck repeating old cycles, repeating old patterns. I'm worth more than those cycles and old patterns. And therefore I'm willing to cut through whatever it is that's necessary to go all the way into experiencing and unfolding and growing into that state of living that life. I have a direction that I'm moving. If I have a barrier that comes up, a feeling that says that I can't have this thing, or that I have to stay in a certain expectation, or have a certain person be in my life exclusively, and without them I'm not worth anything. You see, no, I don't need this person in my life to be worth anything. I don't need this person. I don't need you. You know what I said to this is an SP that I manifested a long time ago. You know what I said in my head when I didn't have the approval? You know what I said? I don't need you in my life. I'm worth more than you. You know what? I got the attraction. I got the attention. It worked. Because I dropped them off the pedestal. I said, I don't need you in my life. I didn't tell it to their face, but that's what I said to myself. And my reactions changed because I didn't see them as the person on the pedestal. I changed how I was, for real. I didn't see them as the prize, I saw myself as the prize. And I lived that way, and I breathed that way. You see, you understand now what this is all about? Because you're worth that transformation. You see them, you don't need them. If you feel like you can't be who you want to be without that person, you tell them, I don't need you. Be willing to say that to yourself. Be willing to commit. I don't need you in my life. I don't need you in my life. I'm better than being stuck, living the life of needing this person in my vicinity in order to feel comfortable, feel safe, feel validated, feel like I have what I want, feel like I can be myself. You're needing them as your supply. You're needing them to be your supply, right? You don't need them to be your supply. You are the only supply because God comes through you. God unfolds those seeds through you. It's already innate. It's already there. It's already there. So what are you waiting for? You keep waiting. You keep waiting for something. Make the decision today, right now. Right? Before you exit this video, I want you to commit to the direction that you want to live. So every time, this is the methodology, every time that you see yourself playing at these old patterns, that you know, that you've identified, that you've recognized, every time that you see yourself in that place, you're going to remind yourself of your vision of yourself. You're going to say, is this the response that the version of me who has what I want would have? I want you to just look. I don't want you to flip the thought. I don't want you to flip anything. That's useless trash. It doesn't do anything, because the implication of that is not leading the pathways in a way that's functional. I want you to lead the pathways. And there should always be contrast between what your reaction is and who you really want to be in the world. When you can do that, and you can separate who you're being in the now from the reaction that you just had and say, that's not me. I'm not that person anymore. I'm better than that. I'm better than this. I'm worth my vision. I'm worth the vision of myself who has what I want. Who's worth having this person. Who's worth having whatever it is that I'm looking to attain. I can involve myself in this way. And all of the surrounding ways which represent that. Of course I'm worth this. Always have been. Always will be. It's a no-brainer. I don't have to be this way anymore. I'm past that. I'm way past that. See yourself as way past that stuff. That's what I want you to do. I want you to really get passionate about your transformation. I want you to get passionate about your transformation. Instead of just going halfway and taking a step and then being like, oh DJ, I did what you said. I went out and I did something different. Why is my SP not manifesting? What the heck are you talking about, mate? Are you serious? You're not actually transforming. You shouldn't be asking me that question. If you were serious about transformation, you wouldn't show up and tell me, oh DJ, I did it, it didn't work. You're missing the freaking point, dude. Wake up. You're missing the point. It's not about doing the thing. It's about the involvement that you have, that you want to be involved with, because you see yourself as worth more than that. And you will want to get back up no matter how many times you get knocked down, because your vision is worth your attention. Your vision is worth your attention. Your vision is worth doing whatever it takes, cutting through any conditioning, any levels of conditioning that are necessary to manifest overnight things. You can manifest your SP overnight. If you see yourself as worth completely and wholeheartedly, worth being greater than they are, and having them see you on the pedestal, be in that life. See them seeing you on the pedestal. Live in that life and draw that reference frame every time that you find yourself looking to compromise. No, I'm on the pedestal, not them, not the thing. I'm the one who dictates how things work, because this is my sense of self. This is my innate nature. I'm determining the results. I'm determining the outcomes, because I'm being myself, and therefore it has to conform to how I expect things to be, because it's within me. It's already innate. The seeds are already within you. You don't need to imagine them. They come through you. You automatically will have what you want unfold in the world, just because you're being the person who already has it. And I just told you how to do that. So do it for real. No compromise. No compromise. Go all the way. Don't just go one step, go all the way. Have some passion for your transformation. Be allowing God to play the role through you, because God plays all of our roles. You transform, God transforms other people, because it's a self-reflective nature. It's a thematic supply-demand. When you have the supply, other people will have the demand. When you see them as having the supply, you will have the demand, and they will feel it. So instead of seeing them as the supply, you be the supply. And you break all of your limits, and you go beyond your expectations, way beyond. Because you see yourself as worth it. Are you worth the transformation? Are you worth the vision? Are you worth the change? If you're not worth the change, you'll stay in the box. Do you see now what's going on? If you're not worth the change, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to be worth the change. You have to be. If you see yourself as worth the change, you will go to any length to manifest that vision of yourself. Because I can tell you for certain, as having lived that myself, I can tell you with 100% certainty that if you really, really, really see yourself in the place that you want to be in, you will put blood, sweat, and tears, if necessary, into attaining that state. You will, because that's what you envision yourself. And guess what? Neville Goddard said that whatever you have desire for, even if you obsess over it, he said this is what he said in the lecture on Changing the Feeling of I. He said, even if it haunts you at night, if it's to the degree that it's haunting you, he said that man will basically guarantee that he'll manifest it. Because you're so focused on your vision, that you're worth your vision, that you're going to any length to transform any part of your reality, your psyche, your energy circuits, your meridian systems, to become that person for real. And to stop just passing off your power to techniques. Stop passing off your power to imaginal acts. Because the imaginal acts don't have any damn power. They have no power whatsoever. Neville Goddard said, this is what he said directly, the technique has no power whatsoever, it's what's implied, and the implication is what this means about you, meaning, are you worth that thing? That's what the implication means. Are you worth that life? Do you understand now what thematic supply-demand means? What it is to be yourself without compromise, and then change other people in response? Instead of trying to manipulate them by imagining them being different, you see yourself in a greater position than you've ever been. You continue to elevate your sense of self higher and higher and higher and higher until you reach the point of the pinnacle where you are the supply and nobody else can compare. You are at the top of your game. And by the way, being at the top of your game does not mean you have to be world class. It's just to the degree that is satisfying for you to be yourself. Whatever level that is. And it can be very simple. It does not have to be massive. It does not have to be some kind of massive ground shaking shift in all of the ways. You don't have to change in every way to have your SP. That's not the point. But the point is to see yourself as targeting the highest form of yourself. To be the supply within yourself relative to them. To see yourself as the SP. To see yourself as, I do have the qualities of someone who is loving, caring, nurturing, who can have a stable relationship, who doesn't always look for traits in other people that look to fulfill parts of me that I don't have. When you are the specific person, instead of them, when you are your own target, instead of seeing them as the target, attraction becomes natural, effortless, and easy. That's why being yourself without compromise in every way that you know that you can, because you're worth it, because you're worth that experience, you're worth that relationship, you're worth that experience, you're worth that life. You see yourself in that place. I can be this person right now. And you tell yourself, I can have it right now. I don't have to wait. I'm allowed to have this thing. I don't have to hold on to this anymore. I'm free. I'm finally free. I can be who I want to be. For real. I'm done. And you make those decisions and you act in implied involvement. You involve yourself in living the life that you want. When you least expect that your SP will show up. Or someone even better than them, which is probably ideal. Someone even better will show up. I can bet. And you'll want that. And you'll want someone even better. Because you're worth it. You don't need to be stuck with that other person. You don't need to be. You're worth way more than that. So move forward. Be involved in the life that you want to live. Be willing to let go of everything that binds you to the old state. Be willing to drop everything that binds you. All of it. Identify everything and drop it out. And involve yourself in the life that you know that you can because you're worth it. Are you worth living that life? And that's the question I want you to ask yourself. Nobody tells you this stuff, but it's the truth. It's the facts. If you look at all the variables underlying manifestations that happen overnight, it's someone who realizes, I do have the worth. I can be this person. And they own it. And that's how I manifested specific people overnight, multiple times. Sums of money, multiple times. Objects that are worth thousands of dollars, multiple times. Things that are big happen because you have radical shifts in your sense of self, because you see yourself suddenly as, I'm the supply. I'm this person. I can respond differently now. I don't have to be this way. That's how you manifest overnight, guys. That's the truth. It's not about the freaking techniques. It's not about the techniques. It's about you changing who you are. You be the supply. That's the technique. The technique that will overshadow all other techniques. Because that's God coming through you. That infinite, illuminating starlight that transforms and illuminates your meridian circuits. Because that's who you are. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. It was well worth it. If you want more of this kind of content, be sure to subscribe because you're going to get more of it. We're going to continue to speak the facts about manifesting. We're going to get straight to the point. And we're going to inspire the shifts in your manifestation game. If you want coaching from me directly to really get to the root of your manifestations and get the help from the best coach on earth using my new model called Reality Synthesis that explains everything about manifesting from top to bottom using new methods that have never been implemented anywhere else on earth before, you know where to go. That's it guys. Stay legendary.